Okie dokie. Just make sure I can see the lovely chat. There we go. Hello again, everybody. Hope everybody's had a lovely day so far. Today we are back on with our commission piece for Sign. Speaking of Sign, hello Sign, how are you? With our Chainrasp here. I found a pink contrast paint signed, which is some Volupus pink. I'm going to mix these two again, so I'm going to go back over with some Magus purple and some Volupus pink just to make sure that the colour on the robes is 100% as pigmented as I want it to be. So that's the first step today. How has your day been, Signed? Has it been okay? Oh, Volupus is a nice shade. It is, and it was hot. Yeah, it's been really hot here as well. Like, I'm actually starting to get a little bit fed up with the heat. Well, not even a little bit, I am fed up with the heat. I really, really despise being too warm, because there's just like nothing I can do to cool down. Or only so much you can do to cool down, I should say. And it drives me nuts when I just can't just sit comfortably without, you know, having to readjust every 5 minutes because I'm just too warm. That's actually perfect. It's actually made the purple look even brighter. Do you have water with you? I have a cold drink next to me that isn't an energy drink, so yes. Mr. Nerd. Sign says hello. Aside from being hot, has your day been okay, Signed? Good. I've spent my day painting a rat ogre. Not the one I did on stream yesterday, but I have 3 to paint, so I painted another one. It's here with me if you'd like to see it. Today was paid and actually went to Warhammer store, of course, as you must. yes, I would like to see it. Okie dokie. So this is my little rat ogre boy that I painted today. So this is the direction that the other one I've been streaming is going in. It's very rat-like. So yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. I think the Volupus Pink has done quite a nice job of blending the two together, but I'm going to go in a little bit more with a tiny bit more Magos Purple in a minute when that's dry, just so it actually blends properly. But for now I'm going to go back in with another coat of the Gehenna's Gold and go over the chains again. So you said that you went to the Warhammer store. What did you buy? What did you pick up? Hey yo, Summit, how you doing? Taking out a smaller brush. Hey, Subzum. And Mr. Rothman, yeah. He's also here.
Legally obliged.
Legally obliged to be here, he says. I bought the clippers, so expensive. Files, the mini holder thing, 4 paints, and the shard speaker of Sinesh. Ooh. Sounds like quite the bundle. We'll be going in next Saturday for the mini of the month. Shit, I know what the mini of the month is this time. I haven't looked it up. I managed to buy the things I came in for, but then got greedy. It happens, okay? You're only human. Hot, yes, just hot. I think we all agree on that sentiment. Hot. I got a capture card for streaming on console. Ooh. What are you looking at streaming, Summit? Whether hot or just you in general. It just sounds like you're flirting. think we may need to just leave them to it signed. The annoying weather is indeed very annoying. I assume Day's gone last night. Ooh. I would pay good money to watch you stream Dance Revolution. And in front of you too. Oh, to be honest, I'm used to it at this point, signed. The amount of times like I've heard him talking to people and he's just like, hey sweetie, or hey sweetie pie, and I'm like, that's obviously not me. It can't be me he's talking to. And I'm 100% right every time. It's not me he's talking to. By good me, I mean it would be good money if in another country, of course. But he only called me Sweetie Pie. He calls you Sweetie Pie, he calls other people other names. Summit. I don't get cute nicknames, that's how I know he's not talking to me.
I have one cute nickname, but I can't say on the stream.
No, you can't. I'm off out, but good to see the notification pop up. Hopefully catch this one, catch the next one. No worries, Kryto. Have a lovely time, whatever it is you're up to. Hey and bye. Kryto, take it easy, indeed. I don't know what you're doing, but have a lovely time. Yeah, you are definitely his only sweetie pie though, Summit. Just gone in with a little bit more Magos purple, and I'm just trying to make this blend a little bit more seamless, which it's definitely achieving that, and when I go in with highlights and stuff it will make it obviously a little bit smoother. We're definitely getting there. I just need to grab our green again. I think it's elsewhere in the house today, so I need to quickly go grab that so I can top up that green. 1 second. This music is from Final Fantasy. So going back in with that Warpstone green, or Warpstone glow, sorry, that we had used last time. And just painting over the handle again. At least with working nights, it's a little bit cooler. Yeah, that is true. Makes it a little bit more bearable. Obviously, where I'm working, obviously when I'm not on maternity leave, it is essentially one ginormous furnace, or one ginormous greenhouse, best term. Because the whole front of the store is just glass windows. And no air conditioning, so it's just ridiculously warm in there. One of the debates from yesterday's stream was what accent we think Skavens will have. Book believes they would potentially be a Yorkshire accent. I think they would be kind of Cockney, like Danny Dyer. Yorkshire works, it does. Your obsession with them sound like Matt Damon.
Yeah, Damon.
I don't think they will sound like Matt Damon. This is what we're working with so far, after blending with Magos and Volupus. I think it's a lot more seamless now that I've used both contrast paints. Going to go in with a tiny bit more of Ryad bark. She says if she can find it. Where'd it go? There. Just to clean up the hands a little bit. And clean up the face. There you go. I want to stream PW, but I suck even on normal, so doubt people want to see that. like a very distinct reason why Mr. Nerd doesn't play games with me. Because I just suck at them so badly and he has to carry me the entire time and then he gets annoyed that I'm just not able to do it. So I just give up at that point. I don't see the point in trying to continuously fail. I want to see you fail with my gaming. I think, to be honest, he tends to play... What's he playing today? Grim Dawn? And because he's like stopped streaming, so at the moment he's just kind of playing games for fun. And even then he's just died like 7 or 8 times today, just on that alone. It does kind of look like a Chainrasp is holding a glow stick. It does a little bit. I could go over it, if you like, with a contrast paint and maybe some warp lightning just to darken it up a little bit if you wanted me to. But I do also have Nuln Oil to kind of go over the top anyway. For fun? Yeah, just for fun. He's playing games for fun, Summit. It's up to you, son. I can make it darker. Or I can try the contrast and see if that darkens it up enough that you're more content with the finish. Yeah, maybe darken it up a little bit. Okay. I'll try it with the contrast first, because I don't need a lot. And then, if we still want it darker than that, then we can. Because obviously this is quite bright, but over this base it might be okay. Did you see my rat ogre, Summit? This might do absolutely nothing, and then after this, I think the darkest colour I've got is Warg Green, or Warg Flesh. Because I have a feeling that might just make it brighter. Yeah, I think we'll have to go darker. We're in agreement that he's holding a glow stick rather than an axe. So we're gonna go darker with the green.
Ready for a rave.
Yeah, he's definitely ready for a rave. Show me! Okay, I will show you and then I will go grab Warg Flesh. So I did 1 on stream yesterday. I have 3 to paint, so I did 1 today. So here's my rat ogre boy from today. It's pretty cool.
Steven's ready for a warpstone rave.
Yes. Started this about midday, I want to say, in the end. Yeah, so from about 12 o'clock until about an hour ago, I was painting this. Do you want to see the bases, Simon? They're not finished, but this is the base that this is going on to. This is going to be like dark grey. But this is my base for my Skaven. Ooh, warpstone. Ooh, that is so cool. Thank you. So, to make this effect, I put PVA glue on and then applied lots of super glue, and it makes it bubble, and then left it to dry overnight. This is all cork, which I've then covered with thick mud and then sprayed it black, and then I did a base of white, and then did a base of Bad Moon yellow, and then over the top of that went in with Warp Lightning, and then over the top of that went in with Tesseract Glow, and then over the top of that went in with Ard Coat. And it's not even finished yet. But it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it so far. And then of course we have our next figure to finish off as well. Like this is where we got to with yesterday's Rat Ogre on stream. This was 2 hours of work. But he's obviously not finished, but he will be finished on stream. I need to grab some. Yep, I was lost with my plastic cap to my paintbrush. That would be bad. So the cat would run off and eat it. Skaven are just the best. Yes, the best. He was doing a Skaven voice all day yesterday. All evening yesterday. I have 3 rats. Thing is though, whenever he does the yes, the best part, it just sounds like he's doing a really like odd Kiwi accent, and he sounds like Igor. It's just quite amusing. I have this one sign, so I'm going to go with some wild flesh. I think that will be dark enough. We have a lot more than 3 rats, because we've got the Ember Guard rats, we have the entire like Spearhead magazines, which is where we got the rat ogres from. Excuse me. Then of course we have the Cities of Ash box, and what else have we got? Something else. We've got another thing that has lots of rats in it. So we have a shiitake amount of rats at the moment, which is strange because like, Skaven was never something I initially was like planning on buying myself. Just because I was like, I like the trees and I like the ghoulie boys, aka the Nighthaunt. But I do quite like them. But the Ember Guard stuff is really, really fun, so I'm going to be painting that soon. So what I'm going to do is, once I've finished your commissions sign, I'm going to do like a little break where I do a little bit more Skaven, and then I'm going to go on to do Krytor's Dark Angels, just so I can have like a little break between commissions, and then finish off my Rat Ogre on stream. Yeah, I have a very large selection of Skaven. Just want to go ahead and remind people, if they haven't already, if they would like to stream, that would be wonderful. They can push this out to more people and please the algorithm gods. And if you're liking what you're seeing and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please subscribe so you don't miss out on content like this and more future streams. There we go. A little bit less glow stick. But I could do highlights using that initial warpstone. And for reference as to what that would look like, it would look like this. You can just see the highlights on the that will be the warpstone height. So that's what the highlights would look like on a base of warg flesh. But yeah, this was 5 hours of work for me to get to this. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Right, I'm just going to put a cap on this paintbrush and pick up one of my bigger ones so I can get ready to start doing some shading. Looks very good, thank you. Wow. Okie dokie. For any of the metallics for highlighting, I'm going to go over them with some Agrax Earthshade, I think. So I'm going to have some Agrax Earthshade over the chains and the actual hatchet part of his blade. The only way to say warg flesh is with a true warg to it. Much better, less ravey. Yes, it's definitely less ravey. Again, this is Agrax Earthshade for shading the chains. I also have ice cream this stream signed. I went out and bought some yesterday. What flavour? I've got salted caramel and fudge. Oh, Summit, how have you had anything about your tooth? Because I know you were going in for a little pre-op before you were going to Japan. Has that happened now? Have you had your operation? I really am liking the Gehenna's gold, you know, with the Agrax. I think I'll have to use this in future on another project because I really like this combination. Decent. Yeah, it's a good choice, I think. Although I will, I will say though, when I went in to the store, all the ice cream except for like 2 different pots was sold out. And it was like just that or just vanilla. The waiting list is a minimum of 40 weeks. Jesus. That's intense. Very not fun. Especially because it's a waiting list for pain. Yeah, that's a sign that it's hot, yeah. It is indeed a sign that it's hot. Now I'm going in with some Nuln oil. So I'm going to get a slightly bigger brush so I can have a more surface area. And after this, it is highlighting and like fancy arty details. And of course, going in with some light brown over the arms and the face as well. I'm going to do a tiny bit of dry brushing on that. To part those details. But yeah, I walked in and it was like, where is all the ice cream? All the ice was gone, all the frozen pizzas and food was gone, everything that was like easy, and then all the ice cream was gone. So it was like, yep, that makes sense. In fact, there was one other one, which was like a raspberry pavlova style ice cream. That also sounded nice. That's why I like working in a supermarket. We get free ice lollies during shift. That's actually a very good point. Thing is, like, I remember my employers that were like, on the hot days and the heat waves, they were like, don't worry, we've got you covered. Like, we'll make sure you guys are well kept and looked after. And then they'll buy us like water. But then we have like the tiny work fridges, so then the water doesn't even go in the fridge, so it's just room temperature water, which I get. Yes, you're still hydrated, but it's like, okay. When you're that hot, you want something that's cold. You don't want to just drink lukewarm water. It's not the most appealing thing. So people just started like taking the individual bottles out, putting their initials on it, and then popping it in the fridge, like the freezer section, which is like tiny, just to kind of get some relief. Speaking of which, I'm going to have a quick sip of my drink. There we go. The little one is fighting his sleep right now. I tried getting him yesterday during stream. He was asleep from the beginning of the stream all the way to the end. I got him to sleep just like half an hour before we started streaming. And it meant that Mr. Nerd could sit next to me the entire time, and, you know, the little one was just watched through baby monitors and stuff to make sure he was all good, and he was fine. And then today, it's okay, like, that seemed to work. We'll get his head down, it'll be alright. And then today he's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna make your day easy today. I'm gonna stay awake. I'm not gonna let you go to sleep. Oh, not gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna let you stream both together. One of you has to be with me constantly. So he is still awake, even though he should have been asleep at least half an hour ago. So, oh dear, I work in payroll, so I process employees' expenses. On hot summers, an employer brought in all his receipts for all of the drinks he had bought during a heatwave. None of it was water. I'm not surprised. Okay, now to try and pick out my tiniest little dry brush to see if I can dry brush these arms. And this is the smallest dry brush I have, which still might be too big. But we'll find out. Worst case scenario, I'll just have to use a really stiff, short brush from my other ones and see if I can get that to work. For the face specifically. And it was committed to. I've called him Mr. Poison Chalet since it was Chalet. Oh goodness, that makes so much sense. Righty, for our because that's what he wrote in his expenses note. That's fair. The only time I've ever had the option of doing expenses, when I was working in health and social care. If you went out in public with a customer or whatever, you had the ability to expense off the tickets that you bought for, say, buses and things. So I would always, it sounds really sneaky and manipulative, but we were always encouraged to try and get them to go out of the house. So if we went out of the house at all, they'd always say all right, let's take the bus, because they had free bus passes, so they got everywhere for free. So it didn't cost them anything to go on a bus. Just going in with some Sylvaneth bark here. It didn't cost them anything to go on the buses because it was completely free for them. And then it meant the bus that I then took to get to their home, I was then able to expense. So then the only money I then spent was any food or anything I bought whilst I was there. Because a lot of these were overnight shifts and stuff. So I do, for example, on a Monday, I did a 17-hour shift. So on those 17-hour shifts, obviously I need dinner. So a lot of the time I would bring food with me, but then obviously we'd go to the shop every night to pick up his dinner, so I'd pick up snacks and things for the night. There was a reason when I left that job I was bigger. The amount of snacks that I ate was ridiculous. And then it wasn't huge, it's just for someone who's only 5'1", I was quite big. It's just picked out the finer details in his hands and things, but when I go in with a highlighting shade, that will pick that out more. So (5'1", so (5'1" centimeters is 154. I'm 154 centimeters, so I'm very short. So you're at shoulder height for me. Yeah, I'm very small. And then at that size, I weighed 160 pounds, which is 73 kilograms, which for someone of that height was quite a lot. And now I weigh 59 kilograms, or 9 point, like, that is a lot for that height. Yeah, it is a lot for that height. So 9 stone 4, which is what I weigh now, or 131 pounds. So I've lost a lot of weight. There's a reason why I was very, very depressed in that job. Let's put it that way. Not to mention working as a key worker during COVID times, which I was when I was working in health and social care for 3 years. The only places that were open for stuff were obviously food, and you were more exposed than other people, so it made me quite an anxious eater. So I kind of took control of the habit by eating, which was obviously not a good thing to do. So now I'm a lot smaller, so I've lost a lot of weight since then. For the petals, I should probably just show you what I mean here, Summit, so you know what reference photo I'm looking at. I'm adding highlights as well, obviously, but just for reference, there's like tiny little petals for the reference photo and blossoms. So you see like the little lighter flowery blossoms. I don't know if you want those in white or whether or not you want them in just like a pale pink. I think almost like a pale pink would do nicer, like cherry blossom style. So for example, I would suggest maybe foreground pink or Emperor's Children, or maybe a mix of the two would be quite nice. Or if we're going for the purple, Slanesh Grey would also be quite nice. Oh wow, those colours actually work nicely. They do. I'll have to do that to you, no worries. I'll probably do a mixture then. I'm also thinking where I want to place cherry blossoms, because obviously this is the first time I've ever drawn flowers, so I'm going to have to get out a reference photo. So I'm probably going to start those now. And then petals and stuff, I'm going to do more petals down the bottom, but I'm going to try and do some flowers kind of near the top half. Okay, I can do that. Well, she says with false confidence at this point. Well, it's not so much as false, I guess. I believe in my capability. It's just a case of I haven't done this yet, so it's a new experience for me. I'm going to go in with a very, very small, very, very tiny brush for this. So that way then I'm working with the best I can, the best size I've got available to me. Because any bigger than that and I feel like I'm going to mess them up. Because it's a little bit darker than some of the reference photos, I'm going to go in, I think, with a slightly brighter pink. So I'm going to go with Emperor's Children first. And then I'll highlight those. Maybe a dotting tool can help. Unfortunately, I don't have one. That's the only issue. If I did, I would use it though, 100%. But I'm going to go with Emperor's Children. I do need to buy some like dotting tools and things. Like I'm still expanding my collection. But I'm going to do the base outline with Emperor's Children. And then I will do the highlight in the centre with foreground pink. But I know I don't need to do these massively, so... Good evening, Patrick. How are you doing? So something like that. And then I'll go in the middle. In fact, I might go even brighter, actually, rather than darker. Because that's more... Put that on your to get list, definitely. I'm going to go in with darker rather than lighter, actually, for the centre. And for that, I'm going to go in with pink horror. I'm good, thanks for asking. You doing alright? Yeah, doing good. Doing good over here. What do you think, Side? Are you happy with that? So turn the main light on 1 second. Maybe like add a lighter flower on top for the one for that one. Like a smaller one, like a mini one in the middle. We can absolutely do that. Oh, freehand. That pink over the cloak looks great. That is a combination of a base of Screamer Pink, and then over the top of that, I've gone in with some Volupus Pink and Magos Purple. Mini one right in the middle. Are we happy with how that looks? That Chainrasp is going to look adorable. They are 100% going to look adorable. That is the plan. And for reference as to how I'm going to do some of like the fallen petals, just for like their general shape. She says if she can get it to paint on. It'll be a very cutesy Chainrasp, that's for sure. And I'm going to do like a mixture of different coloured petals. So I'll probably use some white, some pink, and some pale pink petals. Liking these little tiny fallen almost like U shapes, just slightly thicker. I have a feeling once I'm done with streaming, I'm going to be getting a bowl of ice cream and then going upstairs to try and settle my son. So I think that's going to be what I end up doing after this stream today. Which we've only been going for an hour, so we've still got another hour left. I want a picture of said bowl of ice cream. I will send you a picture. I promise I will have the ice cream signed. I may need it, to be honest. Between flowers, I will also be doing highlights as well, so it won't just be flowers. My cats are losing their mind behind me. Oh, we just went in with the lighter shade for that one. So for that one I'll do opposite, so I'll do lighter outside and then darker middle. Like I said, I have no experience with drawing flowers. It would be a lot easier if I had a dotting tool like Sign suggested, 100%. But I'm going to try my best. I spent my day painting a rat ogre, Patrick. If you want to have a look at that, I'm more than happy to show. You're doing great. Thank you, Signed. I appreciate it. What do you think of the flowers, Mr. Nerd? Doing good? Mr. Nerd is popping down between, like, taking care of the baby. Maybe have petals from those years. You can maybe crush a few and stick them to the hem of the cloak. I absolutely can. Yes, we'd love to see the rats. Because what I will do, Signed, using some of that pollen that I have, I'll use this. I'll 100% be adding some of that to the edges. edges and kind of in spaces like this, where I wouldn't, like, if it was falling onto the, like, in spaces like on the shoulder, things like that. I know what you meant, it's okay. So, using these, like the petals in this, I'm going to stick it in places where I've been thinking about getting the Skaven spearhead just to paint. Do it. The other option, if you haven't already seen them, is if you just want to get some random Skaven. I don't know if you guys have like the spearhead magazines. You don't have to get like sign up for the whole collection, but you could just pick like a couple. For example, the one that we've got was like $7.99. I love that you just know what I mean. I do. I know you too well at this point, signed. We got 3 rat ogres in that, which normally is equals about 30 or so quid for like £7. So if you want to just pick up a few pieces, that's always an option. So here's our little rat ogre from today. Started and finished today. His base is not attached because his base is being worked on separately. And that's his base. No Spearhead magazine in South Africa. That's a shame. But he will sit in there. Looking great. Thank you. But yeah. That's one of 3 rat ogres. I'll start the other one on stream. I will finish them on stream. Because I was originally going to do them for a video. But I don't want to like start an ogre on stream and then finish it off stream. And well, it'd be on a video, so you'd obviously be able to see the progress. But I just don't see the point in doing it that way. The old PVA and super glue trick for the base, indeed it is. It works a treat. PVA glue, super glue, left it to dry. For the raised bits, I used some stick-on cork and then some Vallejo Diorama Effects Thick Mud to cover it up. And that worked pretty well. I just think it makes stuff look a little bit more put together than it actually is, if you know what I mean. Works quite well for like I had someone was like, oh, it'd be really good for a Tyranid base. I was like, yeah, it would work very well for a Tyranid base. It also works really well for Skaven. And a bunch of other stuff too. I'm going to go on some more Fulgrim and start doing some lighter petals near the bottom. Yeah, it looks good. I've been painting Serratias this year. It's been such a pleasure. There's so much that's like really been enjoyable this year so far to paint. And last year. So obviously this year is going to be like quite a big year for more Dark Angel stuff for me. But it's also going to be a big year for Skaven. A big year for a bunch of other stuff, actually. Hydration check, everyone. I will have a sip of water in just a second once I've done this next flower, this petal. The ogres are in fact the first Skaven I've painted, yeah. I've never actually painted any Skaven before. Didn't get any of the sets. So they are the first, they are not the last. I have the Fishes of Ash box set, I have 3 rat ogres, I have the Underworld's Ember Guard ones to paint. I have a lot of Skaven to paint at the moment. Many, many rats. I do like the petals. I think it's very cute. And once this has had the flowers on it, and of course got the glitter and the bows and all sorts, it's going to be very, very cute. So this is a commission piece specifically, Patrick, for Signed with Blood here in the chat. So this is my second commission here on the channel, and she wanted a super girly Chainrasp. So she asked, and she shall receive a super girly Chainrasp. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rats coming, Patrick, and so far I'm actually really enjoying painting them. I did discover last year I do enjoy painting the more gory figures. Like, as much as I love painting my spearhead stuff, like this was really my Sylvaneth, I think because a lot of what I can do with that one is dry brushed to kind of pick out the details and keep it really rough and natural looking rather than sharp edges, because obviously it's supposed to be a tree. There's not really many sharp edges in nature in that type of world. So it was a lot of dry brushing and then picking out layers over dry brushes. Whereas with this stuff, I can actually add stuff and make it a bit more put together. Right, I think I'm going to go in and do some highlighting, and then I'm going to go add more flowers as I go to kind of, once I've added the highlights, to see where else the flowers are needed. Because I'm definitely planning to put more kind of down here. And down here, I think. But for now, I'm going to go and do some highlights. You're not helping with the rat problem. My main army is Death Guard. Such a joy. No, I'm not helping at all with the rat problem. Death Guard are really fun to paint. I really enjoy painting Death Guard. I can hear my son is still losing his temper. Went to get some water. What did I miss? Not much, Signed. I'm just going to go in now and start doing some highlights so I can see where I need to then place highlights to determine where else I then put flowers. So I'm going to be jumping between flowers and highlights. It can't hurt to get the rats right. I mean, I deserve them, right? Don't ask me, Patrick. You know I'll play devil's advocate. So don't ask me. I will always tell you to just, you know, if you have the funds and you deserve it and you've been working hard, then I would say yes. But I'm always going to tell you the answer you want to hear rather than the correct answer. Actually, not always. We had another member of the kind of the community on here, Gray, once, who was saying it was talking about trying to like move stuff on his own that was like a 2-person lift. At that point, I did tell him, no, stop doing it. You're wrong. But aside from that, most of the time, I'll always encourage stuff. You all deserve rats. Going in with Pink Horror for our first highlight, by the way. Focusing this mostly at the top of the figure. He is looking very cute though. The armies I have are Salamanders, Blood Angels, Emperor's Children, and Slaanesh affiliates. It's a good selection signed. So, me personally, I have Nighthaunt, Sylvaneth, now Skaven. What else? But we've got almost all of them now, actually. It's a bit of a problem. And 3 Ultramarines. And I have a little army of Sailor Moon Marines. But they're purely just for fun at this point. Right, I'm going to do some purple highlights now. For the purple, I think I'm going to go in with just some Genestealer purple. And focusing this mostly on the lower section of the figure, of course, as we have a pink to purple blend here. For the highlights, like on the edges, I've done that, but I think I'm going to mix a tiny bit of pink, purple, and pink horror and Genestealer to do the highlights on the actual robes, because I think Genestealer on the robes himself might be a bit too harsh, or a bit too vibrant, I should say. So I'm going to mix the two together just to create a softer kind of blended look. And that should do the trick nicely. think that's a really nice highlight colour actually. It's looking very girly. What are you thinking so far, Signed? He looks great. Good. I'm glad we think he's looking good so far. So if you guys can hear motorbikes, we've got our top windows open and we live near quite a busy road, and it's now obviously bike season here in the UK. And you can tell because like multiple times a day I just hear like one or two, and then suddenly like there'll be like absolutely loads of bikers all at once. There we go. That's him thoroughly highlighted. So now I'm going to go in and do some white flowers with some pink centres. For my white, I'm going to use Vallejo model colour in white. Pick up my smaller brush again. When the envelope where your decal cells do not bend and it comes to you bent. Oh god. I had something similar the other day where it's like, well, the other week I had something in a package that was obviously a bit more delicate. And it says obviously handle with care. And the guy didn't even attempt to post it through my door. He just threw it over a fence into my garden. It's like, yeah, that's really handled with care, isn't it? I'm gonna go in with full-grown pink for the center of the white flowers. Like, I don't want to go too crazy with all the flowers as well, because I do plan to add quite a lot of stuff with the added extra of the stick-on flowers and glitter and stuff. So although I want to make sure it stands out. Hello, how are you doing? Cool, look, I haven't heard from you in a while. How have you been? Good, good. I'm glad to hear you've been doing well. I'm building Gundam right now. Ooh. Right, we're thinking about start going through and just adding some white white petals, because I feel like it's got quite a good balance of flowers. And then when I start adding the foliage as well, that will kind of amplify that. Yeah, I'd love to know what Gundam you're building. I'll have to look at that one in a moment. Cool. I'm going to go in and do the gold highlights now. At that point, the highlights are almost done because I've dry brushed the skeleton, but I'm going to go in with a little bit of the paint Carrick Stone, and then I've got just the green highlight left to do after that, and then after that we're just adding flowers, like stick-on flowers, decals in the base. So this is a shook copper, by the way, I'm using. We agreed on the end of last stream that I would use this as a highlight over the top of the Johanna's Gold. Mackenzie, how are you doing? This is our second commission. This is your friend. Well, hello. I might even go a bit brighter with the gold highlight, you know. I'm good, how are you? I'm good. Yeah, that works better. I'm going in with a little bit of Liberator Gold for the highlight. I bought Blood Angels transfers. They are so beautiful. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest by that sign. Right, our last highlight is going to be our green, which for that I'm going to go in with that Warpstone Glow and just do like a thin slither of a line. Super, super tiny. And that'll be all the highlights done, except for a tiny bit more on the brown, which I'll do in a second. Pretty sure a bird just tried climbing through my roof then. Got a little under half an hour left. So what I will do is I'll use some glue to transfer some of the flowers onto the actual figure today, and then we'll do the base in the next stream when we start your next figure signed. So that'll be where the glitter comes in and all that stuff. So I'm on the last part of the highlights, which for this I'm going to use a tiny bit of Carrick Stone, which is just for the brown parts. Glitter, of course there's going to be glitter. And if you want this to, even after all the flowers, if you still want to have a bow as well, I will also give it a bow. I'm new to Warhammer. What should I know if everyone recommend it to me? It depends on what you want to go with, Mackenzie, whether or not you're going to be going with 40k or Age of Sigmar. The most important thing is it's a hobby, it's supposed to be fun, so don't be, in my opinion, sucked into all of the people who take it too seriously. It's a slippery slope once you start. Exactly. Like it is an expensive hobby. So if you really want something, make sure you're 100% certain it's what you want. And then obviously save up and get it. Asking for Warhammer and stuff like that for birthdays or Christmas presents is also a very good way of getting your stuff. If you want stuff kind of purchased that you don't have to purchase yourself. I've started installing the Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 on my PC. Great game. Mr. Nerd, aka Rothman Gaming here. Absolutely loved that game. Quick question, would you ever do a live stream based on an actual video game? I'm not really the video game type. My husband is, but I could absolutely do a live stream with like inspired by a video game. How long have you been doing Warhammer for? A little over a year. So we started in January, so approaching on a year and a half now. So a year and a half of doing the hobby. Signed, I gave him some chompers. What do you think? Nice teeth. He's got good teeth. Good teethers. And on that note, I think it might be time to start adding some flowery stuff. Quickly grab the correct glue that I'm after. What's my favourite Warhammer character so far? Like, that I've painted? Or in general? The answer's the same for both, so I don't know why I asked that question. The answer so far... My favourite character I've painted is Lionel Johnson. My favourite character is Lionel Johnson. He's my Primarch of the Dark Angels. Just grab my tweezers as well, sorry. Oh goodness, now is not a good time for my cat to be trying to jump on my desk. I think I'm going to go with a smaller piece of pollen first. I'll save like the bigger pieces of pollen for when I'm doing the base. Just a cute little cherry blossom. Oh, you should show him it. I will absolutely do that in just a second. I'll grab him in just a moment. Hello, focus please. Give me 1 second, I'll grab him. Okay. So 40k Lionel Johnson. Still one I'm very, very proud of. That's amazing, thank you. I appreciate it. It's like nearly 12 hours of work. For the lion, that's exactly. Previously, whenever I've stuck on any of this, it's been done with resin. Hell yeah, great line, such a great model, and that's a great paint job. Thank you, Patrick, I appreciate it. For real, thank you. Yeah, he was my Christmas present from Mr. Nerd last year. And I don't know if he was the last figure I painted before I had baby, actually. It might have been. It was definitely the last project like I finished before baby, that's for sure. For those who are kind of like new to the lore, the channel lore, I went into labour on Christmas Day last year and had my son on Boxing Day. And I literally said like 2 days prior or 3 days prior, it's like, oh yeah, I'll stream on Christmas Eve. Didn't stream on Christmas Eve because I was like, I'll spend some time with family. And then Didn't end up streaming for 2 weeks because I had a child. So. It's an understandable break, of course. Congrats on the child, thank you. It's also the reason my streaming's been a little bit inconsistent recently, because we started streaming really consistently at Christmas time, then had the wee one, had a break, and then is Mr. Nerd also Warhammery? Yes, he is. He has got quite the collection himself. We have a very large collection of Warhammer. We have 2 cabinets full. Half of it is his, the other half is mine. Mr. Nerd does all the building. I do the painting. Although he is a very good painter. A very, very good painter. He's very talented. A lot of the time when he does paint now, he paints like off camera. I do kind of have to subtly remind him every now and then, like, people actually really like seeing your stuff. You should do it more on stream. Or like on the actual channel. The only thing I will warn you about, you may not like it, he is a Filthy Towel player. He is in fact a collector of space communists, so if that offends you, then look away. I'm just trimming this down with a little bit with some cutters. So Mr. Nerd's collected the Slaves of Darkness, Tau for 40k. He's painted some Death Guard. What else he painted? He's currently painting his Urks for our Middle-earth Battle Strategy series. And they are very, very good. He also has the Helmsmith of Hashut. It doesn't offend me, it just makes me want to call the Inquisition. We forgive him for Tau. Like, one of the biggest running jokes on the channel was that he is a Filthy Tau player. And he does play filthy space communists. But the plan, ideally, would be over the next couple of weeks as well, to not have just me streaming, but for us to swap between us. So me paint commission pieces, and then whilst he watches the little one, and then vice versa. He'll stream some nights, then I'll watch the little one. How would you build a Hellbrute if I've been struggling to build it? Honestly, like I said, I don't do the building. Mr. Nerd does. I get really frustrated with building, so hence why I don't do it. It's purely the whole reason why Mr. Nerd does all the building, because when I do assemble things, I do unfortunately sometimes assemble them wrong, or I try to glue them on so many times that I then melt the plastic with the glue, and then it goes on wrong, unfortunately, as a result of that. So unfortunately, I might not be the best person to ask. Come on, Mr. Nerd, let's see your hands. Exactly. I have to put a vote out on the channel to see who wants to see a Mr. Nerd stream. He might paint some Oryx, he might paint some Tau, he might paint some... we've got lots of stuff for him to paint. Lots and lots of stuff. What are we thinking, signed? I magnetize my halberd. It's such an easy mod to magnetize and doesn't lock you into a loadout. Magnetizing it. I love it. Good. I'm glad you love it. So what we'll do is we'll stop applying any more. So don't want to overload it and take away from the detail. But we're going to do a lot because the base is going to be quite crazy. So I will ask you the questions now, signed. First things first. What base colour do you want the base to be underneath the glitter? Are we talking bright colours like Doomfire Magenta underneath all that glitter? Of course, it needs quite a substantial base to show off. You said you love your Screamer Pink, so I do have that. Or are we looking more purple toned? Something dark purple? Okay, so something like this, or I think I may have something darker somewhere over on the other side of the room, but we could do dark purple. If not, I can always make a dark purple with this and some black. And now for glitters. Which of these do we prefer? So the two purple, more purple toned. Two pink. Do I have Nagaroth Night? I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I recognise it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do. If not, like I said, we are popping out in the next few days, so I can always pick it up. But I'm pretty sure we do. And for glitters, are we thinking more pink themed, more purple themed, or more kind of whitish themed? Make the pink and purple glitter? No worries. So I've got a light pink and a darker pink, or I can do darker pink and light, dark, what am I about? Light purple and dark pink, which I think would look quite nice together. Especially over a darker base. This is more like a bluey purple. Or I could do light and light, which would also look quite nice. Or I can mix all three of those, actually. Yeah, I'll mix the pink and purple, so I'll mix them all. I'll mix all three of those, and I'll mix a tiny, tiny bit in of that one, I think. And then obviously on the base we'll add a few more of your fallen cherry blossoms. And then if you really want, I can also add a bow to your figure if you want. Do that, those three. These three? No worries. And do we want to put a bow on this figure? because I'm thinking if I was going to put a bow somewhere, I'm tempted to put it on his axe, which I think would look quite funny and quite cute. I'm going to pop out a little selection of the different colours I've got. And then the bow would be adorable. Yeah, I mean, if we're going cutesy, we might as well go all the way. So we have like a more vintage pink, baby pink, purpley pink, white or cream, which I think would be best. Any of those ones would work. These are specific like nail art ones as well. A light purpley pink would be nice, so I'll go for this one then. And I think the placement, part of me is tempted to just, the only thing is it's quite large. Part of me is tempted to stick it there. Or whether or not you want it just kind of like on the back somewhere. Or on the base, I could do anything. But we'll discuss that in the next one. You can put it on his axe. Okay. Thank you for giving me permissions. I will consider that when I pop it on in the next stream, which will be tomorrow. So thank you everybody for tuning in. So obviously, Cyan, I'm really happy to hear that you're happy with the progress of your figure so far. And we'll be back to finish him off tomorrow and start your second figure, which will be very, very similar. It'll be another Chainrasp, but instead of doing darker pinks, it'll be a lighter base with light pink flowers. So very, very cherry blossom inspired. So thank you everybody who's joined today. It was really nice streaming again. Really nice to see some familiar faces. I'm very tempted to do one of the Girly Pop Dreadnoughts, pastel pink and pastel blues, bedazzled. Absolutely, Patrick, I say do it. I will peer pressure you to do it. Do it. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. I've had a lovely day so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. So, bye for now, guys.